Hey there, this is Leading Las Vegas. I'm Danielle Ford, and today I'm talking to a good friend of mine, Erica Zaldivar. She is a counselor, and I wanted to bring her on the show because probably a lot of you guys watched this Netflix show that came out recently, and I did. I was a little disturbed by it, which is actually the opposite of what I've seen a lot of people post on social media about it. You might know what I'm talking about. It's 13 Reasons Why. And Erica posted something on social media totally that basically was like all the things I was thinking, but I hadn't said. And I was like, can you come on the show and talk to us about that? So thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, well, thanks, Danielle. First of all, I'm really glad that you saw that. I think what I had posted was some talking points, so
Yeah.
which was really important to me. So I'm a marriage and family therapist intern here in Las Vegas. I have a private practice. It's Inspired to Shine. So I work with families, teens, kids. So this is actually a really special topic for me. So.
Yeah, and you see it like all the time. You're not just like some random person watching a Netflix show and then like telling the world that everybody should show their teenagers it, because that's what I'm seeing. Everyone's like, you should make your daughter watch it, and my daughter wants to, because all her friends have, and I'm like, I really don't want her to.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, if my daughter's 13. What are your thoughts on kids wanting to watch that show?
I really think it depends on the family. I think that's the biggest thing is if you know your child better than anyone. And so you know her emotional development and her capabilities and her experiences. And so if you're sitting with her and working with her and talking to her about things, and it can become an educational, thing for her, and she can have a chance to explore her thoughts, feelings, and emotions about it, then it can be something that can be very productive. But if not, if that's missing, then it can actually be detrimental. And that's the scary part about it. And that's what a lot of kids are actually watching it by themselves, or like binge watching it, because it's on Netflix.
Making their own opinions.
Yeah, and then, they're just stuck with this, it's, all of this emotion about all of these things that are happening, so.
Yeah, so we kind of jumped into like why we hate it, but we haven't really talked about specifically what kind of topics it covers and what happens in the show, and I guess without spoiling the entire show, if you haven't watched it.
True.
Can you talk about like some of the key things from that show that were like, red flag, red flag?
Yeah, well, I think they had a really good intention overall with why they wanted to create the show. At least Selena Gomez was one of the producers, and I watched a little interview with her of why she wanted to create the show. Was she wanted people to know that these things were important about bullying, suicide prevention, and basically overall human kindness. So our actions have a big impact on other individuals, and so that it had great intentions, but I think that somewhere along the lines, like, it sort of got misconstrued.
Do you feel like it like almost so the premise of the show is that it's 13 Reasons Why, and it's 13 Reasons Why this teenager killed herself. And the boy is listening to her audio tapes, and each tape is about a different person that contributed to her suicide.
Yes, yeah.
Do you feel like, because I do, do you feel like it, one, like glamorizes suicide, and two, almost gives teenagers the perception that suicide is someone else's fault?
Yeah, I think actually all of those things. It definitely glamorizes it in the sense of like the character Hannah, who's the person who commits suicide, becomes more famous in her death.
Right.
And the biggest thing that that was the thing that I had an issue with, is that all of the kids then internalized, oh, I'm at fault, which, that's not actually true. Sure, our actions have impact on other people, but we can't then blame ourselves. All we can do is do our best. And so I think that was a great thing, that sure, they need to know there should be, accountability held for, where we are in the world and how we interact with other people. But then we can't just like blame ourselves and beat ourselves up, and then, all that stuff that happened within the show, which I know now I'm sort of getting into that. But yeah, that was a big thing. So
one thing I totally like just kind of imagined a teenager thinking, because honestly, like, the things Hannah went through in the show were terrible.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
a lot of kids go through way worse, and to me, it's like a kid could be watching that and going, oh, she went through this stuff, which is horrible, and she killed herself. Well, my situation is way worse than that. Yeah. Like, I have that times 10. Maybe I should kill myself.
Yeah, and that's really scary. And the big thing about that is, I mean, I think the biggest message for teen, parent is first of all, don't minimize any issue.
Right.
So, there's no comparison. Pain is pain.
Totally.
And so, and especially with teenagers, it's very real, and their emotional development for them, it's their reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big thing for parents. They're like, I don't get why they're so stressed out and all this, but it is very real for them. So yeah, that coping skills. The show does not, amplify anything on that. And so if they are feeling like that, that, oh yes, my situation is way worse than hers, like, oh my gosh, like, so if they can, to reach out to somebody, that's the biggest thing is, and that was, the show did have great intention, but they didn't give enough PSA and resources or anything like that. And so
I was like watching it going, so where's the answer?
Yeah.
Like, so, but what is it going to turn around and be like, here's what she should have done?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Or,
so they definitely could have done more of that. And I know we don't have a ton of time to go into that, but, even with the counselor, that was very heartbreaking for me that he didn't ask more open-ended questions and get more in depth with her about her experience and all of that. And one thing that I thought was really sad too, it highlighted sort of the modern family of stressed out, overwhelmed, of, they really missed what was going on with their child. And that was really heartbreaking to me. And so if we all could just sort of slow down and see what's going on a little bit more within our own families.
So me as a parent, I was totally thinking that. I'm like, the mom, which is super relatable.
Yeah.
Right?
She was
Great
a very
mom.
loving, kind, totally,
Is busy. She has her own business. She's busy, got things going on. She seemed to be trying to create a relationship with Hannah, and she just wasn't picking up on it. What kind of things do you think parents could do to make sure they're not missing those kind of important details?
I think the biggest thing is taking the time to do really mundane things with your kids and extend the time beyond just how was your day and what's going on kind of thing, like almost even forcing them sometimes if they don't want to do things and finding that common ground and just watch a little bit closer to how they're interacting, because they'll spill out the information sooner or later and they'll start talking and here and there. And that's what I notice a lot with teens, even in my office, is sooner or later, if we're playing games or we're telling jokes or listening to music, they do start talking.
Yeah.
It's just finding the common ground with them.
It's like they want to.
They do.
They just don't know how
and
to say
Hannah
it.
shows that. You can see that throughout the show, that Hannah does express that. She really wants to, and she looks for that. But then there's those, she doesn't quite have enough courage to then, extend. So, and she is emotionally vulnerable, and it was just one thing after another in her situation. So yeah,
that was really heartbreaking. If you guys are a grown-up, I suggest you watch the show. If you have kids, I suggest you take Erica's advice and consider it. So I mean, obviously you're phenomenal at this. She's just brilliant when it comes to families and especially kids. I know you have a passion for children a lot as well. How can people here in Las Vegas or anywhere in the world get in contact with you?
So Inspired to Shine is my website. I do work with teens, families, couples. I also do wellness counseling. That's actually my biggest passion, is just supporting people with preventing burnout and reducing stress. Just like that family in the show, really, I mean, if they had somebody to support them in slowing down their life a little bit and helping with bridging that communication, would that have made their life a little bit easier, and having Hannah have just a little bit of coping skills and somebody to connect with her. And,
It totally is related. It's like fill up your cup before you can even help your children.
Yeah, so I'm all about just reducing the stigma on mental health and counseling, so...
Right, can we talk about that really quick?
Yeah, so there's a huge stigma, so I just like to look at it as prevention more of just, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, it's just more of just, we're big on let's go to the gym and get a trainer, but none of us, it's becoming more popular now, and I'm really glad to see that, but just, don't be afraid to hire somebody to help you with anything, just to have somebody to talk to, set goals with, work through, whether it's trauma or anything, just somebody on your team.
It's almost like just being prepared, because who thinks that nothing bad is ever going to happen to them? Nobody. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, life is a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, having someone that knows you already.
Right.
I think is like way important. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys check out Erica especially if you're in Las Vegas, or if not, her website has lots of really good info on it, and you're on social media too.
Yes, inspired to shine across the board. So
awesome.
All spelled out.
Thank you so much for being on this show today. That was really helpful.
And I love everything that you do. Thank you.
You guys leave a comment and we'll continue this conversation over there, okay? See you later. Bye. You can watch the rest of this amazing interview at leadinglasvegas.com.